Hello, everybody. I'm Taiki from taikidizi.com. Today, I want to think about this corona shock. And the impact of this corona shock all around the world is, I think, unprecedented. Personally, I have never experienced this scale of a negative impact in the world. And I think this is an important point in our history. And regarding the negative impact towards economy, or whether the infection is going to expand all around the world or not, those things, many people are talking about it in media and internet, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video. But in this video, I would like to think about the world and the society after this corona shock, because I think this is an important this could be an important turning point in our society. Let me explain in detail. Because so far, I think there were mainly two camps of arguments regarding the progress of the society. I think on one hand, there were people saying that the progress of the society could be measured with economic growth or the GDP growth. On the other hand, there were people who were saying that, okay, especially in developed and industrialized countries, we have already achieved enough economic development, but we are observing the negative side effects of economic development. For example, climate change, too much competition, worsening quality of life. So let's get rid of GDP growth. And let's focus on something else, for example, GNH, gross national happiness, or the well-being of people. And I think this corona shock will be a good test. I don't know whether it's an appropriate word to use, but it might be a good test to evaluate the effectiveness or the viability of these kind of arguments, which are for which argues that let's get rid of economic development and let's appreciate the quality of life more. Why? Because this year, 2020, might most probably there will be a recession from this year. And certainly the economic growth will stop, and the GDP will be a terrible level in many countries, especially in many developed countries, because as of now, coronavirus is affecting many industrialized and developed countries. China, Japan, United States, and Europe, in all these industrialized countries are heavily affected by this coronavirus. And what's going to happen? What is? Let's take an example of an Italy. What's happening in Italy right now? The other day, I posted a video in which people can't go out of their house, so they spend a lot of time with their family, and they are playing instruments in their balcony, and they are collaborating with their neighbors, and those kind of things are happening. And when I took a look at that video, I thought an idea came up to my mind. And I thought that this corona shock might be might strengthen the family bond or the community bond, or the connection of the real the local people. Because people can't go out, people can't go to work, people need to stay home, so there is no alternative but to enjoy with people around you. And then if people feel that that kind of life meaning that appreciating the bond of local community, sacrificing a little bit of economic activity is comfortable, then then the society or the world might be able to shift a little bit towards appreciating the value of well-being or happiness over economic development. But on the other hand, there is a possibility that after this corona shock, people will start saying that, okay, we were wrong. We thought that happiness is more important than economy, but after experiencing this corona shock, we realized that economy is essential for happiness. So we should not sacrifice economic growth for happiness. So in conclusion, I would say that this year, 2020, will most probably see a recession and a lowering economic activity, which might result in lower in negative effects. For example, unemployment rate will probably increase, and people will become poor. Their salary might decrease, and a lot of people might lose their jobs, and some people might get depressed. But at the same time, certainly there will be less CO2 emission. I would say there will be more time to spend with your family. There will be more time to spend with your neighbor. So if people can enjoy, no, this might be appropriate. This might be really inappropriate to use such a word in the midst of this crisis. But of course, people who are really affected, who are affected by coronavirus, that's a different story. But other people, if other people really enjoys this circumstance or environment in which people have a lot of time, less environmental degradation, but less economic activity, less money, people enjoy that kind of situation, then people, after this corona shock, the world might shift a little bit towards a society in which people appreciate happiness and well-being over economic development. That could happen, or people will realize that economic development or growth, GDP growth, is essential for the happiness or the well-being of people. And that's my conclusion. Last night, I posted this the same contents in Japanese, and I got a comment, and he said, if you are to choose either happiness or money, most people will choose happiness. But happiness there are a lot of factors that affect that happiness, and one of them is certainly money. So it's not a binary between happiness or money, but we should balance it. And I totally agree with that. I certainly agree with that, and I appreciate that comment. But to what extent this money can contribute this happiness? Again, on one hand, there are people saying that this money plays a critical role in the happiness and well-being of people. On the other hand, there are other people saying that, okay, this money, of course, plays certain role in this happiness and well-being, but there are other factors that affect the happiness and well-being more. And I think this corona shock could give us an important lesson regarding which factor can really contribute to the happiness and well-being of people. And what do you think? What I'm saying right now might be a little bit inappropriate, again, in the midst of this crisis, but I think it is also important to think about those long-term impact of this corona shock right now. Thank you very much, and if you liked it, please register this channel. Bye.